If Juancho cannot play tonight, how does that change your thinking on the starting lineup, and how does it change your thinking about how you proceed with the game tonight?
Yeah, if Juancho can't go, same old story. Somebody else got to step up. We'll have 4 starters out with injury, but he was able to go through parts of shoot around, and I'll wait to talk to our training staff, but I'm optimistic that he's going to be able to play tonight. Just have to keep an eye on his minutes, and that's one thing. When you have so many bodies out, I have to really make sure I'm not overloading guys, playing guys too many minutes, and taxing them as we move forward. But if he can't play, then Malik, Nick Young, Tyler Lydon, and somebody else is going to have to step up in his place.
Was he hurt the other night during the game, or was this something that came up in the next day or so?
Yeah, I think it's been something that he's been dealing with. I think some of our guys have kind of bumps and bruises that they've been dealing with all season long, and this is just something that Juancho's had to deal with. And when he plays long minutes, it kind of makes it a little bit worse. But he got some treatment, and once again, I think he's going to be able to go tonight. We'll wait to confirm that.
What concerns you most about the Mavs tonight?
They were a really tough matchup for us last year. Their quickness, our ability to guard them one-on-one. Obviously, Dennis Smith is out tonight, but other than that, it's keeping them off the foul line. One of the better teams in the NBA getting to the foul line. Harrison Barnes, Matthews, Doncic, DeAndre for that matter, and then the rebounding. DeAndre's coming off a 23 rebound game, 10 offensive rebounds. They do a great job of getting second and third chance opportunities. So can we continue to guard well? We're 10-2 in our last 12. In that 12 games, we lead the NBA in field goal percentage defense and three-point defense. If we can guard tonight, we'll give ourselves a chance. That's going to be the biggest challenge.
Michael, Nikola told me the other day that he met Bill Walton in Los Angeles, and Bill told Nikola how much he loved his game, told him it reminded him a little bit of himself. Dan Issel told me Nikola reminds him of Bill Walton. Your dad, I think his first NBA assistant job was in the mid-'80s toward the end of Walton's career in Boston. I'm curious, have you ever heard anything like that from your dad about that comparison, or has that ever come up?
No.
Okay.
That's a hell of a question, though. You put a lot of time into that one. But no, the comparison makes sense. Vlade Divac is another guy that Nikola gets compared to, and Vlade rightfully says Nikola's more talented than I ever was. But the skilled big, the playmaking big, the guy who has the IQ and the vision and the playmaking. I think that's what separates Nikola from all these other bigs. I mean, he's had, since Wilt Chamberlain, he had the highest assist total for a season last year. Right now, I think he's like 10th at 7.5 assists per game. So what Nikola does from a playmaking standpoint is really what separates him from all these other really young, talented bigs. And that's why the Bill Waltons, the Vlades, those kind of guys, you can see that comparison.
Michael, from the outside, and people who have not seen you, how do you explain the turnaround in your team defensively with pretty much the same personnel?
Yeah, it's I've said it all season long. For us, we didn't bring in a whole bunch of new players. We didn't change our defensive philosophy. We just talked about it as a team all summer long. When you miss the playoffs by one game and you're a bottom 5 defensive team, when you miss the playoffs by one game and you're ranked 30th in three-point defense, something's got to give. And to me, the thing that jumps out is the buy-in, the commitment, and the multiple effort. By no means are we playing perfect at all times. We make mistakes. But when you have a fly-around, multiple effort mentality, you can cover up some of those mistakes. So the fact that we've gone from 30th to first in three-point defense is remarkable. This is game 30, so there's a lot of basketball to be played. See if we can sustain that. But really, it's just something that we as a staff harp on every day. Defense is all about habits. We make sure we're touching on those things every day, and we watch a lot of film to make sure we reward when we do it right and we correct when we're not doing what we're supposed to do.
But then when you get buy-in, I mean, are you surprised that you can make that kind of jump? I mean, it's one thing to improve, and you expect to improve, but to make that kind of improvement is really, it's almost unprecedented.
Well, it's funny about that. I looked at the numbers this offseason, so we were 30th. And if we took away one made three a game last year, just one, which to me is not a lot, we would have gone from 30th to 3rd. So I told our guys, we're not that far away. Like, it's not like, hey, we're way away from being a good defensive team, and especially guarding the three-point line. If we take away one made three per game, we can jump into a top 3. And how do you do that? More effort, better closeouts, running back, having more discipline in your closeouts, whatever it might be. And again, I say once again all the time, but our players deserve the credit. They're the ones that are out there doing it and doing it at a high level and sustaining it for 48 minutes.
Your attention has obviously been here, and you're off a hot start. But how much have you allowed yourself to pay attention to what's going on in the West? I think there's 11 teams; they're over 500 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're always trying to stay in tune to what's going on around you. Priority number one is what's going on with us and where we're at. But I mean, a couple of days ago, I looked and Houston was in 14th place. And Houston, if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, they're NBA champions in my eyes. They're starting to play better. At one point within the last week, you had 6 teams outside the playoffs that were playoff teams last year. So it's a very deep and loaded and talented Western Conference. Dallas Mavericks last 17 games are 12-5. One of the better records in the NBA over that time span. So it's deep. There's no easy nights. I mean, Phoenix just won 3 games in a row, I believe. So we pay attention to it, but obviously priority number one is making sure we do what we have to do, and all the other stuff will take care of itself.
How do you think Nick Young's been fitting into this team on the court in the locker room?
Oh, he's seamless. I didn't know him at all, but Wes Unseld, who had coached him in Washington, talked about what a great guy he is, how easy he is to be around. And I can see that. He just wants to fit in. He's not trying to stand out. When you throw him in the game, he goes out there and does his job. I love it every time he hits a 3, how excited the crowd gets, how excited his teammates get. So it's been great having Nick. It really has.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.